Do you question the world around you? Explore the complexities of money and society. Uncover the web of lies and manipulations that often remain concealed. Let's journey to the dawn of humanity, to where it all began. For much of our past, we lived within tribes. Groups of 20 to 30 individuals hunted, gathered, and defended together, forging strong bonds of mutual support. Those who couldn't fit the tribe's dynamic would be kicked out, simply left to death. Our desire for acceptance and fear of rejection are echoes of our tribal past, reminding us how history shapes our emotions and experiences. Then came the agricultural age, the turning point in human history. Cultivating crops and raising animals for a constant food supply allowed individuals to specialize in tasks beyond basic survival. Now, we could store food and resources, creating a buffer against scarcity. This surplus became the foundation of wealth. It allowed for trade and development of complex societies. Those who owned fertile lands gained a significant advantage. They were able to control most of the food production. This not only elevated their status, but gave them leverage over others in the community. As communities grew in size and complexity, the need for organization and decision-making became evident. Leadership roles naturally evolved to manage resources and resolve disputes. As communities even got larger, the need for protection against external threats became crucial. Leaders who showed the ability to safeguard the community gained influence as protectors. This meant more authority and control over resources. The leaders, landowners, and skilled artisans occupied higher rungs of the societal ladder, while others fulfilled supporting roles. This differentiation was justified by the notion that certain individuals had more responsibility and contributed more to the community's well-being. Most of the early hierarchical societies used religious beliefs to legitimize the authority of leaders. This further solidified the hierarchy and justified the unequal distribution of resources and power. As time went on and on, the hierarchical systems became more and more entrenched. Wealth, power, and status began to pass down through generations. This inheritance of privilege perpetuated social divisions and made it more difficult for those at the bottom of the hierarchy to challenge the established order. Now, we can all agree that this is still the case today, but it has evolved to control us indirectly. In the intricate web of the world's workings, a game of control is being played. Those in power, driven by the desire to maintain their dominance, crafted a system designed to keep the masses submissive. Let's dive into the various elements of this game and understand how it really works. At the heart of this complex structure lies the distribution of power. It's an uneven landscape where control is exerted physically through law enforcement. But the driving force is mostly psychological. Channels were designed through which they can mold minds and make people alike. The goal? To prepare individuals for lives of predictability and unquestioning obedience. Their two biggest channels are education systems and the media. These institutions become the architects of our beliefs and ideals. From a very young age, we're exposed to strategically chosen inputs, a clever method to shape society and guide it along a predetermined path. Within this system, a clear division emerges: producers and consumers. The system's architects are doing their best to maintain this dichotomy. Through educational control and careful shaping of cultural norms, they ensure that consumers stay in their position. Pursuit of wealth or power is discouraged. Those who pose a threat to established order are left out lonely in consumer societies. Let's dive into the world of consumers. They all work for producers, essentially tied to them. They directly convert time to money. Survival level. Here, people convert a lot of time to little money. Their jobs have very high supply to demand ratios. These people can be instantly replaced, so they're treated with no respect whatsoever. Majority of them demonstrate a fixed mindset and are driven and manipulated by fear. Their ignorance is usually at peak high. Standard level. People at this stage trade a considerable amount of time for a modest financial gain. Occupations here usually originate from educational backgrounds with no expertise and still face a high supply to demand ratio. These people are manipulated with the use of rewards and punishments. By giving rewards, they encourage the desired behavior. This leads them to repeat those behaviors and are obviously punished to weaken the undesired behaviors. These people are trained like dogs, but the only difference is that the owners in job environments don't form an emotional attachment. And if the dog doesn't listen to orders, it can easily be replaced. After the AI revolution, these people are expected to fall to the survival level. Premium level. Individuals at this level dedicate substantial time for moderate financial gain. Occupations within this tier feature a low supply to demand ratio, often requiring specialized expertise. Their work emphasizes efficiency and are mostly exposed to chronic stress. They have the potential to ascend to upper tiers due to their producer networks. Okay, you want to be a producer. There are several paths that you can take. But first, you should know how you were produced. You're born into a world where consumerism is the only input. Then the knowledge transfer is continued through a flawed education in school. School is amazing for governments. It keeps teenagers off the streets, lowering crime rates. It's perfect for parents as they can get rid of their children for long hours of the day and not bother teaching them all of that unnecessary crap. And most importantly, it gets you fixated for a job environment, teaching obedience. Go somewhere for as long as they wish, where as they want, act as they want. Solve the questions in their ways, the questions they write. It's an oiled machine designed to strip away your independent thinking and creativity. You see, education systems as we know it was born during the industrial age. Back then, local economies ruled the world. The model for schooling was to create component labor, creating nicely fitting machine parts for somebody else's organization. But today, businesses have teams scattered all over the globe. Opportunities are diverse as they come. We're talking about razor-thin niches, serving customers from every corner of the planet. So yeah, school was designed for yesteryears, where everyone was supposed to neatly slot into local jobs. Other than loss of independent thinking and creativity, the school gives you a lovely injection: conformity and valuable quality in parenting. But on the path of empowerment, it can be the greatest obstacle. You have no self-respect if you can't say no. If you can't say no, you can't establish healthy relationships. Without the capacity to refuse, you open the door to manipulation. And before you even realize it, you have become a psychological slave. And oh boy, the culture norms. You love certainty. You just hate risk. Taking risk is the only way to success. But the culture teaches you the opposite. They control you by fear. You need that paycheck by the end of the month, so obey. The reality is, you fear death. And uncertainty reminds you of death. Become anti-fragile. Antifragility is the art of using randomness into one's advantage, making chaos a catalyst for growth. Imagine a tourist on track and the bus is late. For the fragile, the day is ruined. The anti-fragile takes advantage of the chaos and makes the most out of it. And the resilient doesn't care. Stressors are essential. All organisms interact with each other using stressors. In fact, with an absence of stressors, organisms get weaker. If you constantly sit on a chair, your back will weaken, Muscles grow stronger as they experience damage and tears. Immune system strengthens as it encounters illness. As long as stresses are not excessively harmful, it works in our favor. Our society is obsessed with eliminating even the smallest risk. This used to make sense in the old days, as stresses were always present. But now we're able to control our environment, and usually we control the wrong parts about it. Rather than eliminating major risks, we prioritize comfort over growth. In fragility, things can only go wrong and nothing good can come out of it. Has always more downsides than upsides. On the other hand, anti-fragility gains from volatility. Anti-fragile individuals smile at uncertainty, constantly seeking for opportunities. This shares an intimate connection with entrepreneurship. All folks from Seneca to Jeff Bezos seem to share this mindset. Your culture forms the foundation of your beliefs, and everything else is built on top of it. Beneath this foundation, yes, your cultural foundation, lies the inputs that the system's architects have strategically placed. These inputs find a way into your psyche, affecting your attitudes and decisions. You can never get rid of these inputs, but remind yourself these are simply wrong. For example, prestige is a collective illusion. Collective illusion is something that you pretend to care about because you believe others care about it. But deep down, no one really gives a shit. This is proven by the use of private and public opinions. When questioned about job values, the public opinion places prestige as the fifth most crucial priority. Yet privately, it plummets to 55th spot. Saving money? More like I want to be poor. Banks advise you to save money, but they don't listen to their own advice. As soon as you deposit that cash, they try to get rid of it ASAP. They rather lend it to others or invest it. Because the banks know saving money is stupid. Every passing day, the saved up money loses value to inflation. And it's not only the banks that do this. Governments love that you're financially uneducated. Who pays taxes? Consumers, obviously. How come the government allows the producers to not pay taxes? Because the government loves the producers. They have employees that do pay taxes, so it's a win-win situation. Indeed, governments purposely made a law system that can easily be exploited by producers. Know the difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance. Tax evasion makes you go to jail. Tax avoidance makes the consumers hate you. The profit of a business can be transferred outside the business without paying its taxes. The law suggests this can't be for individual purposes, but easily goes undetected. The governments turn a blind eye to this. Unlike the employees, which are ripped off till the last penny. Becoming a producer has never been easier. Technology amplified the power of influence mad crazy and making money straightforward. Despite the evident progress, modern consumers diverge from this notion. 3 most harmful addictions are heroin, carbohydrates, and a monthly salary. If Nassim gave me a slot in this tweet, with no hesitation, I would lock in trash content. The consumer mindset of today involves extreme dopamine addiction, killing all the focus required for things that really do matter, distracting themselves as much as they can, and then complaining about economy and mental health. Notably, social media stands out as a best friend of producers, for those who monetize it. Alright, let's talk about producers. Contrary to what consumers believe, 79% of millionaires are self-made and haven't received an inheritance. Only 8% of them attended prestigious private universities, and just 2% of them grew up in high-income families. These people went against psychological pressures of the society and filled the gaps in the system, those gaps that seem stupid to take action on, those gaps that consumers are blind to. All seem delusional in a sense, wholeheartedly believing in their hypothesis. Money, money, money. Most problems arise from lack of it and love of it. It's the currency of wealth and time. Money can be converted to time, and time can be converted to it. There are different rates and types of conversion. For example, working in a salary job is a direct conversion. Very likely, you will get the check by the end of the month. For this certainty, you pay a huge cut. The most important point is, whenever time is directly converted to money, the money giver takes a huge commission. This compensates for carrying the uncertainty. Imagine a table. Left side of the table is mostly poor and scared. They bring their time and convert it to money. The right side owns the table and controls the left side. Right side aims to create something new or sustain it, trying to fit something into the marketplace, and this requires taking risk. Most on the left are jealous of the ones on the right, but continue staying on the left mainly of one single reason. They are afraid of others' thoughts. Let's be honest here. You're not afraid to fail. You're afraid of others seeing you as a failure. Take a deep breath. Now label the exact person who you're scared of. It's usually one or two. How long will you allow that person's thoughts to dictate your life, causing you to live a life full of regrets? Guess what? You and the person you're scared of will die. After 6 months, both of your names will be forgotten. That's what you're really afraid of. Trust me, you won't die if your brother thinks of you as a failure, and neither does he have the power to control your life. You may now pick your side. Welcome to the world of producers. Here, we invest our time for the possibility of a future income stream. If we have money, we invested it behind our decisions to multiply the exerted force. Meanwhile, outsourcing anything that's less than our hourly rate. We seek wealth, not money nor status. Wealth is owning assets that generate income as we sleep. With wealth, we buy our freedom. Climbing the corporate ladder is for those who aim for status and money. A fancy job with a fancy title. Upgrading lifestyle as salary grows. Luxurious vacations during the 1 week of the year when it's possible to get off work. Despite making a lot of money, they're not rich. Instead of buying assets, they're buying status. Here, we don't look at hard work. Our one and only criteria is output. The person working across in the grocery store probably works more than most of us, but we have higher outputs. This is because we have leverage. Volume is how many times you push the lever. Leverage is the length of the stick. Leverage is the difference between what you put in and what you get. It's how we get more for what we put in. The two main leverages are pick better and do better. What you do matters the most. Opening up a restaurant probably takes more time and capital than building an app. Which one has more target clients, competition, and saturation? If I want to sell twice as much burgers, I have to double my employees and resources. In an app, it just means new login pages. Make sure you pick an industry where you can play long-term games with long-term people. This will push the snowball down the correct hill, and you can just watch the compounding effect do its thing. Let me guess, you don't have money or a product. This means you can give all of your time and focus on a single thing. The chance of success drastically drops when focus is split. If you do multiple things at once, you become the master of none. Whatever it is that you're doing, it should come from a point of curiosity, not from what's hard right now. This will result in accumulation of specific knowledge. This specific knowledge, if it's taught, it can only be through apprenticeship and not school. It's highly technical or creative. It can't be outsourced or automated. It should feel like play to you, but look like work to others. Do it better. It's only those at the top that get any outcomes. Your competitors will be working day and night to make their products better, with capital as well. The marketplace doesn't care how hard or long you put into your product. You can be the best at your niche or the worst at it. You're gonna get rewarded accordingly. Better is better than new. New stuff makes you poor. Whenever you analyze something new, you're excited because you don't know the potential challenges. You're only focused on the positive aspects. As you get into it, you realize there are tons of shit involved to actually make money in this new thing. You think this has to be the worst part, but as time goes on and on, it's still shitty with no results. And you get into a crisis of meaning. Why am I doing this? Why does money matter anyways? And you change your goal because you encountered difficulty. Most people just repeat these 4 steps over and over. Oh wow, this looks cool. Let me give it a shot. And then time passes, you realize it's much more difficult than you thought, and you crash. And then you find something else. Oh wow, this seems cool. And you just repeat and repeat. Always consider opportunities. But when you find something that's worth doing, aim for informed optimism. As you find yourself in the valley of despair, regain your hope, but this time, unlike in uninformed optimism, base your assessment realistically according to yours and others' experiences. Do not rush. Most fail because they want to move fast. Shortcuts create a weak foundation. Weak foundations result in failures. Start simple. All complex systems that work evolved from simpler systems that worked. Imagine starting a business from scratch. According to Gauss's law, attempting to design a complex system right away is a recipe for failure. Such systems simply never work. Instead, the key is to begin with a simple, functional system. An MVP is the embodiment of Gauss's law in practice, allowing you to test your ideas and adapt as needed. Take Uber's initial version as a prime example. It featured just two fundamental functions: the ability to call a driver and process payments via credit card. This uncomplicated approach allowed the team to test their concept rapidly, attract an initial user base, and gather valuable feedback. Embrace simplicity. Start small, but strong. Entrepreneurs are the organizing force. They don't work themselves. Instead, finding the people who can work, creating businesses and making connections that form the very fabric of their success. It's rare for people to think this way because the schooling system has conditioned us to think in terms of specialists, not conductors. Think of a quarterback throwing the ball to other players. Although he doesn't score, he is the star of the show. Entrepreneur throws the opportunities to team members, they engage and get the touchdown. Look at the origin story of most really known brands. They all have a key person of influence. Mr. Ferrari drew cars for 50 years based on his personal brand. Walt Disney's identity is still very much a part of today's company's identity. They may end up as faceless brands, but never in the beginning. But the real question here is, what is the origin of the origin? It's always traced back to specific moments in their childhood. Chasing an experience lived in ages between 10 to 13. A sense, realizing their independence, and the capability to separate from their parents. All entrepreneurial endeavors are driven by a desire to recapture this sense, resulting in taking initiative and creating their own path. Businesses with a strong purpose and passion are due to alignment of concepts with their original stories. A business's type is dictated by its end goal. It can be a lifestyle business or a performance business. In a lifestyle business, the purpose is to maintain a balanced and enjoyable lifestyle. They're intentionally kept small. A performance business is geared towards growth. It has an intention to sell or expand for a larger enterprise. Focusing on building something valuable, usually targeting high market shares and profits. How should I know what to start? As Stephen Bartlett would say, any aspiration or idea should go to the someday shelf and let the idea sit there. As creative people, we continuously get ideas in the shower that will undoubtedly make us billions. Wait for 6 months. If the idea doesn't dissolve into the void, continuing to scream at you, then maybe it's worth a shot. I have given you all that I have, and now it's all on you. Entrepreneurship is undeniably a challenging journey filled with many obstacles, but is a path worth pursuing.